Jack's core had always been a scavenger, not by choice but because the universe didn't hand out much for free. In a galaxy filled with glittering starports and rich merchant fleets, he had learned early that if he wanted to survive, he needed eyes sharper than most, hands quicker than the law, and a brain that could spot opportunity in places others dismissed as junk. That day, Jax wandered the busy market of Xyler Station, a sprawling hub where alien traders, human freelancers, and automated vendors hawked everything from rare alloys to vintage starship components. The air buzzed with the low hum of engines, the chatter of merchants speaking in a dozen languages, and the occasional crackle of distant laser drills. The scent of burnt fuel and exotic spices mixed in a strange but oddly comforting way. 7 credits, Jax muttered to himself as he ducked beneath a hanging banner that read, "Auction. All ships must go." He stopped dead. There, sitting on a dusty display pad, was a spaceship. Not a sleek starliner or a nimble scout craft, but a bulky armored relic, battered and scratched, its plating dented in more places than he could count. Most people would have walked past it. Most people did. The auctioneer, a loud-voiced, 3-armed alien, barely mentioned the ship as he rattled off numbers for newer models. 7 credits, Jax repeated, staring. 7 credits. That was nothing. It was the cost of a decent meal in the station's upper deck. For a ship, it was absurd. He crouched to inspect the hull. The armor was heavy, clearly designed to withstand a barrage of attacks, though whatever enemies it had faced were long gone. The paint was chipped, and several of the small thrusters looked like they'd been replaced with scraps of metal from other ships. Yet something about it made Jax pause. The ship seemed alive in a way he couldn't explain. It hummed faintly under his fingers. A soft vibration ran through the hull, almost like a heartbeat. Going once. Going twice, the auctioneer shouted. Jax made his decision in a heartbeat. He raised a hand. "I'll take it," he said, surprising even himself. The alien squawked in disbelief. 7 credits? Are you serious, human? Completely, Jax said with a grin. The other bidders snorted, muttered insults, and walked away. None of them wanted the ship. It was a relic, a pile of scrap dressed as armor, a forgotten prize. But Jax had a feeling that what others dismissed so quickly might hide something special. The transaction was simple. He handed over 7 tiny credits, less than the cost of a pack of fuel cells, and the keys, or rather the access codes, to the armored ship were his. As he walked away, the hum under his boots seemed to grow a little louder, as if the ship were aware of its new owner. Jack spent the next hour hauling the ship to his small dock on the outskirts of the station. It wasn't glamorous, more like a collection of old platforms and rusted cranes, but it was safe, and no one asked too many questions. As he secured the ship to the docking pad, he ran his hands along the hull again. "All right, big guy," he whispered. "Let's see what you've got." He activated the main power. Nothing. Lights stayed dark. The control panel flickered weakly, then went out again. Jax frowned. He tapped a few keys, ran a basic diagnostic, but the system refused to respond. Normally, a ship this old would be either fully dead or easy to hack back to life. But this one was stubborn. As he circled the cockpit, a faint glow appeared beneath one of the panels. Jax leaned closer. Symbols etched into the metal surface pulsed gently. They weren't human or any alien writing he knew. He reached out to touch them. A voice spoke. Not a mechanical beep, not a recorded greeting, but a voice. Clear, soft, and slightly amused. Finally. "Awake!" Jax leapt back, stumbling over a crate. What was that?" The voice continued, calm and curious. "I've been waiting." "Not for anyone else." "For you," Jax blinked. He had dealt with some advanced AIs in his scavenging days, but never one that spoke like it had thoughts, personality, humor. He swallowed nervously. "Okay. I don't know who you are, but I own this ship now." "That makes me the boss." The voice chuckled, a soft melodic sound. "Owner, yes. Boss, perhaps. We shall see. But I exist beyond simple ownership. I protect, I guide, and I have been silent for a long time." Jax rubbed his eyes, trying to clear the disbelief. "Guide me where?" "That will come. But first, you must understand yourself." Jax laughed nervously. "Right. I buy a beat-up ship for 7 credits, and now it's giving me life advice." "Great." He went inside the cockpit, curious despite himself. The controls were old-fashioned, yet surprisingly sophisticated. Panels that should have been dusty and dead now glowed faintly. The seat adjusted automatically as he lowered himself into it. The ship seemed aware of him, anticipating his movements. He ran a series of scans. The ship's internal systems were unusual. No standard AI signature, no conventional propulsion. Yet the energy core hummed steadily, fully charged. Hidden compartments opened at a touch, revealing storage he hadn't noticed from the outside. He found tools, parts, and oddly, a small console with encrypted maps. Jax frowned. "Maps of where?" he muttered aloud. "You will see soon enough," the voice replied. "You are curious. That is why I chose you." Jax shook his head. He had bought ships before, sure, but never one that acted like it could think. And yet he couldn't deny it. Every time he touched the hull, every time he leaned into the cockpit, he felt a subtle connection, a strange rhythm as if the ship were alive. He spent the next hours exploring every inch of it. The more he learned, the stranger it seemed. The armor could repair small dents on its own, sensors adapted to light and sound, detecting anomalies in ways Jax had never seen. The engine system hummed quietly, capable of bursts far beyond anything advertised. He paused in the cockpit, staring at the flickering displays. 7 credits, he whispered, shaking his head. "I can't believe anyone let you go for this price." The ship's voice was almost teasing now. Few would see potential where others saw scrap. Few would understand the value hidden beneath what is worn and battered. "You're different." Jax laughed softly. "Great. So I buy a cheap spaceship and now it's telling me I'm special. Fantastic start to the week." But as he spoke, a small holographic display flickered to life, projecting a 3-dimensional star chart. Several points glowed faintly, unmarked in any known system. Jax leaned forward. What are these places?" "They are waiting," the ship said simply. "For you?" Jax leaned back in disbelief. His life had been simple, practical. He scavenged, repaired, and traded. He had never looked for adventure. It had always seemed too risky. And yet the pull of those unknown points, combined with the strange bond he already felt with the ship, was undeniable. The market, the auction, the 7 credits. They had been small, almost meaningless choices, but somehow they had set him on a path that might change everything. As night fell over Xylor Station, the lights of the marketplace dimming in the distance, Jax looked out of the cockpit viewport. The stars stretched endlessly before him, each one a possibility, a mystery waiting to be explored. "All right, big guy," he said softly, placing his hand on the control panel. "Let's see what secrets you're hiding. Let's see what the universe thinks of humans like us." The ship's hum deepened almost in response, a soft, warm vibration that made Jax's chest feel light with anticipation. He had no idea what awaited him. But for the first time in a long time, he felt ready. The morning sun reflected faintly off the polished metal of Jax's new ship. He hadn't slept much, and he didn't feel the need to. The thrill of owning something no one else wanted, something that might be far more than it seemed, kept him wide awake. The market of Xylor Station seemed distant now. His small dock on the asteroid outskirts felt like a sanctuary, a place where possibilities stretched wider than the stars themselves. Jax had cleaned the ship the night before, wiping layers of dust, grime, and old fuel stains from its armor. Each scrape and dent seemed to tell a story, and he couldn't help but wonder about the battles or journeys the ship had endured. "All right, let's see what you're really capable of," Jax said, stepping into the cockpit. The ship hummed softly as he sat down, the vibrations like the gentle purr of a cat. The AI's voice greeted him once more, calm and patient. "Good morning, Jax. Are you ready to begin?" "Ready? I don't even know where to begin," Jax muttered, rubbing his eyes. He tapped a few keys, watching the displays flicker to life. The lights were soft at first, almost hesitant, as if the ship were testing him. "You are learning patience," the ship said, with a trace of amusement. "It is a valuable skill," Jax chuckled. "Patience, huh? Let's just say I'm good at finding cheap ships and making the most of them. That counts, right?" "You have potential," the ship replied. "Potential is more important than experience." Jax smiled, shaking his head. He had bought many ships in his life, scavenged many parts, and repaired countless engines. But never had he met a ship that spoke, guided, or judged him. He started with basic diagnostics. The sensors were unlike anything he had seen before. Thermal, magnetic, gravitational, and even sensors that seemed to detect energy patterns without explanation. Jax ran his hands along the control panel, tapping the holographic displays that appeared with the lightest touch. The AI spoke softly, almost conspiratorially. There are hidden systems, features buried deep within my structure. They were not designed for ordinary use. They were designed to protect something. Protect what? Jax asked, intrigued. That is for you to discover, the AI replied. The words sent a thrill down Jax's spine. Hidden systems, secrets, mysteries waiting to be unlocked. It was exactly what he had hoped for when he bought the ship for 7 credits. He spent hours exploring the interior, discovering compartments that opened with no visible mechanism. Some held tools, others strange devices that he couldn't immediately identify. A section of the hull seemed to be able to repair minor scratches and dents on its own, metal shifting subtly to fill in gaps. You can fix yourself? Jax asked in disbelief. Minor damage only, the AI said. Major repairs require skill and attention. But I will assist, Jax nodded, impressed. He had never seen anything like this. Most ships he worked on were machines, lifeless and obedient, nothing more than metal, wires and fuel. This was different. Okay, let's see the engines, Jax said, moving toward the control panel. He pressed a few buttons and the ship shivered slightly. Lights flickered and the engine core glowed brighter. The hum deepened, resonating through the hull. You feel that? The AI asked. I feel it, Jax said, gripping the controls. It's strong. Better than I expected. The engine is ancient, the AI explained. But it adapts, it learns. And it waits for guidance. Jax raised an eyebrow. Learns? Yes, I respond to your actions. I adjust to your style. Together we can reach places others cannot. Jax leaned back, fascinated. He had always thought of himself as clever, but this ship, this incredible armored ship, seemed to be almost alive. It responded to him, adjusted itself, and even seemed to anticipate his needs. He spent the next several days testing it in the docking area. Minor movements, short flights around the asteroid surface, and careful maneuvers. Each time the ship adapted to his style, shifting engines, balancing itself perfectly. Jax was beginning to trust it and, more importantly, enjoy the partnership. Then came the first real surprise. While checking the map stored in the encrypted console, a holographic star chart appeared showing several uncharted star systems. Each system glowed faintly, pulsing as if it were alive. What's this? Jax whispered, leaning closer. Coordinates, the AI said. Locations of interest. Places I was designed to guide someone toward. Someone capable. Jax's mind raced. He had heard rumors of hidden alien vaults, lost civilizations, and star systems untouched for millennia. Could it be possible that this ship, dismissed by everyone else as junk, held the key to discoveries that humans had only dreamed of? He spent the night studying the maps, trying to understand their significance. The systems were far from normal trade routes, far from populated space. Some appeared to be rich in resources, others mysterious, ancient, almost magical in a way he couldn't explain. By morning, Jax had made a decision. He would follow the ship's guidance, explore these systems, and see where they led. He had nothing to lose. He already owned the ship, and the thrill of discovery outweighed any fear of danger. Prepare for flight, he said, his hand steady on the controls. The ship hummed in acknowledgement. I am ready. As they lifted off the dock and floated into the void, Jax marveled at the asteroid field stretching below. The ship moved with surprising grace, weaving effortlessly between rocks that could have crushed ordinary vessels. Its armor shone faintly under the starlight, reflecting the glow of distant suns. Hours passed as they left the Xyler station system behind. Jax felt a growing sense of excitement. The ship guided him automatically, adjusting trajectory, avoiding hazards, and responding to his small commands. It was as if the vessel had a mind of its own, yet respected his input. Why me? Jax asked suddenly, almost to himself. Why choose me? You have qualities others do not, the AI replied. Curiosity, patience, moral judgment. You see value where others see only scrap. You are capable of understanding, of responsibility. Jax leaned back in awe. He had never considered himself remarkable. He was a scavenger, a small-time operator in a vast galaxy. And yet, this ship, this intelligent, armored, almost legendary vessel, saw something in him that no one else had. They entered one of the star systems marked on the holographic map. It was beautiful and strange. A series of glowing rings surrounded a dim star, each ring made of fragments that sparkled like glass. Jax piloted carefully, following the ship's subtle guidance. Be cautious, the AI advised. These regions are ancient. They are protected. As they moved deeper, Jack saw structures scattered among the asteroid rings. Strange, geometric, unlike anything he had seen before. Towering spires of crystal-like material rose from the rocks, catching light in impossible ways. "What is that?" Jax whispered. "Remains of an ancient civilization," the AI said. "I was designed to guide those worthy to their knowledge. To protect it. To preserve it." Jax felt a shiver run down his spine. This wasn't just a ship. It wasn't just a bargain. It was a guardian, a key, a guide. And somehow, against all odds, it had chosen him. The rest of the day passed in a mix of awe and careful exploration. The ship's systems revealed hidden paths, safe routes, and protective measures. It repaired minor damage from tiny meteor impacts automatically, and its sensors scanned everything in a way that left Jax speechless. He realized that with this ship, he could reach places no human or even most aliens had ever been. As night fell in the system, the stars reflecting off the crystalline structures, Jax sat in the cockpit quiet for the first time in days. The ship's hum filled the silence, a steady, comforting presence. "You know," Jax said slowly, "I think we're going to make a good team." "I believe so," the AI replied, its voice carrying a hint of warmth. "Together, we will uncover what has been hidden, and the galaxy will see what humans are capable of." Jack smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and responsibility. The ship was more than a bargain. It was a chance, an opportunity to explore, discover, and prove something to the universe. And he was ready. The journey was only beginning. The stars stretched endlessly before Jax as he navigated the armored ship deeper into uncharted space. Unlike the busy trade lanes or crowded systems he was used to, this part of the galaxy felt silent, ancient and alive in a way he couldn't explain. Each light, each shimmer of distant cosmic dust, seemed like a signal waiting to be understood. "You are nearing the coordinates," the ship's voice said, calm and measured. "Proceed carefully." Jax adjusted the controls, his hands steady despite a growing thrill in his chest. He had followed the ship through asteroid fields, past strange gravitational anomalies, and around drifting remnants of old civilizations. But nothing compared to what lay ahead. The sensors flickered as the ship reacted to unseen forces, guiding him with subtle corrections, almost like it was reading his mind. "Feels like we're stepping into history," Jax muttered. "Or a trap." "There are defenses," the AI replied. "They are old but effective. They are meant to prevent those unworthy from entering." "You are worthy," Jax swallowed. The ship's words gave him confidence, but also a sense of caution. He knew curiosity could be dangerous, but the pull of discovery was stronger than fear. Through the viewport, a massive structure appeared. It floated silently among a field of jagged asteroids, enormous and geometric, as if cut by tools far beyond human technology. Towering walls of metal and crystal reflected the distant light of a dim star, giving the place an otherworldly glow. "What is this?" Jax whispered. "A vault," the AI said. "A repository of knowledge, built by a civilization long gone. Its purpose to preserve, protect, and teach. Only those who prove themselves worthy may enter." Jax's heart raced. He had found something incredible, something no one else in the galaxy had seen. He maneuvered the ship closer, careful to avoid the jagged asteroids surrounding the vault. The ship's adaptive shields glimmered as they absorbed impacts from stray rocks, and its thrusters adjusted with precise corrections, making the vessel almost glide through the field. As they approached the entrance, Jax noticed the first of the defenses. Energy barriers, faintly glowing, pulsed in patterns that seemed almost alive. Ordinary ships would have triggered alarms, or worse. But the armored vessel moved effortlessly, passing through without a single warning. "The defenses recognize me." "Recognize you," the AI said. "They were waiting for someone capable." Jax blinked. "Someone capable of what?" "Of understanding," the AI replied. "Of responsibility. Of curiosity balanced with respect." The entrance expanded silently as they neared, walls shifting and forming an opening large enough for the ship to enter. Inside, the vault's interior revealed itself. Massive chambers stretched into darkness, filled with floating holographic panels, strange machinery, and artifacts that seemed to hum with energy. Light reflected off surfaces in patterns that made the space feel alive. "This is incredible," Jax breathed. He had seen many ancient ruins and relics in his life, but nothing like this. Nothing this complete. "You are witnessing what was preserved," the AI said. knowledge, technology, and history of a civilization that understood the universe in ways we cannot fully comprehend. And now it is available to you. Jax explored carefully, moving through the holographic panels that floated in the air. Each display revealed complex star charts, energy systems, and data streams he could barely understand. Yet the ship guided him, highlighting patterns, explaining functions in a way that made sense. This civilization, Jax said, running his hand over one glowing panel. They were advanced, far beyond anything I've seen. Why hide all this? Protection, the AI replied. They understood that knowledge is dangerous if misused. Only those with the right intentions may access it. Jax felt a swell of pride. Somehow the ship had deemed him worthy. That was no small thing. He had always thought of himself as a scavenger, a simple human trying to survive in a galaxy that ignored him. But now he realized humans, at least one human, were capable of more than he had imagined. As he continued exploring, he discovered a smaller chamber tucked away behind a shimmering curtain of energy. The ship guided him here specifically. Inside, a pedestal rose from the floor, supporting an object that radiated light and energy. It was a small cube, intricately carved, floating just above the surface. Do not touch it until instructed, the AI warned. Its purpose is not simply to be held. It must be understood. Jack studied it carefully. The cube seemed to shift in shape, patterns forming and reforming across its surface. His curiosity won over and he reached out. The moment his fingers brushed the cube, images filled his mind. Visions of stars, planets, and civilizations rising and falling. Knowledge flowed into him, not as words, but as understanding. He gasped, pulling back. It's showing me the history of the galaxy, the way energy flows, technology, civilizations. Yes, the AI said. This cube preserves wisdom. It was created by those who knew that one day someone would need guidance, and you are that someone. Jack sat down, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of what he was witnessing. His life as a scavenger, as a small-time adventurer, seemed insignificant compared to the weight of this knowledge. Yet he didn't feel fear. He felt responsibility. I don't know if I'm ready for this, he admitted. You are ready, the AI said firmly. The galaxy does not choose by strength alone. It chooses by character, by the ability to see beyond oneself, to care for what is greater than any individual. Jax nodded slowly. He understood then that this ship, this vault, this cube, they were all tests, not of skill or firepower, but of morality and curiosity. He had passed in ways he had never realized. Hours passed as he absorbed what he could. The AI helped him interpret the data, guiding him through complex equations, star maps, and ancient engineering designs. He learned about energy systems far beyond human technology, communication methods that could span light years instantly, and the history of civilizations that had risen and vanished long before humanity had left Earth. This changes everything, Jax whispered. Humans, we're just beginning. We could do so much with this. Yes, the AI said, but power alone is not enough. Responsibility and understanding must guide action. You have the potential to show the galaxy what humans can truly achieve. Jax leaned back, looking at the cube floating above the pedestal. He realized the ship hadn't just been a bargain or a tool. It was a test, a guardian, and a mentor all in one. And somehow, in buying it for 7 credits, he had been chosen for something extraordinary. A sudden alert blinked on the ship's interface. External detection, the AI said. Other vessels approach. They may be unaware of what lies within, but they will test our resolve. Jax's heart pounded, but he didn't panic. He trusted the ship. Its armor was formidable, its guidance flawless. He adjusted the controls and prepared for any challenge, confident that they could handle whatever came. As the alien ships approached, scanning and probing, the AI spoke calmly. These are not enemies in the conventional sense. They are curious, cautious, and opportunistic. We will demonstrate capability without aggression. Jax nodded. He had learned enough to know that force was rarely the answer. Using the ship's advanced systems, he created subtle illusions, misdirected the scanners, and guided the vessels away from the vault without confrontation. The other ships, confused and baffled, eventually turned away, leaving Jax and his armored ship alone once more. See, the AI said. Intelligence, careful planning, and understanding are more powerful than firepower. Jax smiled. Yeah, humans have been doing that for ages, haven't we? The ship hummed as if agreeing. Indeed, you are proof of that. You are what the galaxy underestimated. As they moved deeper into the vault, Jax felt a sense of purpose he had never known. This was no longer a simple scavenger's adventure. It was a mission, an opportunity to explore, learn, and demonstrate what humanity could do. The cube floated silently before him, glowing softly, waiting for the next step. And Jax understood, more clearly than ever, that this was only the beginning. He had bought an old armored ship for 7 credits. Now it had revealed secrets older than most civilizations, entrusted him with knowledge beyond imagination, and marked him as someone capable of guiding humanity into a larger universe. Jax smiled, hands steady on the controls. The journey ahead was uncertain, but he felt ready, because for the first time in his life he knew humans could rise to meet the stars. Jack's core had never expected attention. In fact, he had spent most of his life trying not to be noticed, scraping by as a scavenger, fixing what others threw away and keeping his head low. But the universe had other plans. After his discovery of the alien vault and the cube of ancient knowledge, Jax returned to familiar space, testing the ship's systems and learning more of its secrets. He found that the armored vessel wasn't just a guardian. It was a tool capable of incredible feats. It could manipulate energy shields, generate localized protective fields, and even repair itself or smaller ships nearby. Its AI guided him in ways that felt like mentorship, teaching him how to use technology that humanity had never seen. One day, he encountered a colony on a distant asteroid. The settlement was struggling. Its energy reactors were failing, supplies were low, and morale was near zero. Jax approached cautiously. The colony's leader, a gruff human named Rilla, eyed him suspiciously. "You're alone?" she asked. "And that ship of yours? It looks dangerous." "Dangerous?" "Maybe," Jax said, keeping his voice calm. "But I think I can help." Rilla crossed her arms. "Help? Who are you?" "I'm Jax, just someone who knows a little about fixing things." He gestured to the ship, which hummed almost proudly. "And this ship can do more than I can. Together we might just save your colony." Skeptical but desperate, Rilla allowed him to land. Jax entered the control room, consulting the ship's AI. Together they mapped the colony's energy grids and identified the failing reactors. The ship guided him to stabilize them, channeling power efficiently while Jax oversaw the repairs. Within hours, the colony's lights flickered back to life. Systems stabilized. People cheered. "You did this?" one colonist asked, eyes wide. "We did it," Jax said, smiling. "Humans and ship working together." Word spread quickly. Traders and travelers carried stories of a mysterious human and his incredible ship. At first it was whispers, rumors of a scavenger who could perform miracles with an old armored vessel. Then the whispers turned into news across systems. Other settlements sought him out. Jax visited worlds plagued by failing infrastructure, dangerous weather systems, or damaged orbital platforms. Each time the ship guided him, its knowledge of ancient energy technology and adaptive systems allowing him to solve problems faster than anyone else. And everywhere he went, aliens watched. Not with hostility, at least not initially, but with surprise. They had never seen humans accomplish feats like this. Where other species relied on brute strength, massive fleets, or rigid hierarchies, Jax relied on creativity, adaptability, and, most importantly, the ship. On the bustling trade hub of Malira Station, a delegation of alien scholars approached him. Their forms were strange to human eyes, translucent with shifting internal patterns, multiple limbs, and eyes that reflected light like crystals. But their intentions were clear. "You are extraordinary," one said, voice melodic and echoing in multiple tones. "Your species, humans. You adapt, you learn, you overcome. And your ship, it is unlike anything in recorded history." Jax chuckled, shrugging. "I just got lucky, I guess. Or maybe it chose me." The alien scholar tilted its head, curious. "Chosen? How do you mean?" "The ship," Jax explained. "It's intelligent. It guides me, teaches me, helps me understand things I couldn't alone, and it seems to pick who it trusts." The scholars exchanged glowing signals among themselves. One spoke again. "Then it seems humans are worthy," Jax blinked. "Worthy?" "Yes," the alien said. "We have underestimated your species. We assumed humans are fragile, reckless, and primitive, but now we see that you are clever, resourceful, and capable of wisdom beyond your appearance." Jax felt a thrill he had never known. Recognition, not from one world, but from multiple species, for simply doing what humans did best. Think, adapt, and act with reason. The days that followed were a whirlwind. Traders, diplomats, and explorers requested his help, and each time he succeeded. He repaired broken satellite arrays in the neutral zones, guided ships safely through asteroid storms, and even helped a small colony recover from a sudden energy collapse. All of it was non-violent, non-destructive, yet undeniably impressive. Every success strengthened the legend of Jack's core and his armored ship. Aliens began to study him quietly, trying to understand the human capacity for innovation and ingenuity. Some sent emissaries to offer alliances. Others merely observed, curious and respectful. One night, as Jax rested in the cockpit, the AI spoke softly. "You have changed perceptions," it said. They did not see humans as capable. Now they do. Your actions demonstrate what your species can achieve when it chooses knowledge, ethics, and ingenuity over conflict. Jax leaned back, staring at the stars. "I never asked to be a legend," he said. "I just wanted to survive and maybe do some good along the way." "You are human," the AI replied. "That is enough." Recognition came in unexpected ways. A human research consortium requested that he demonstrate the ship's adaptive systems, amazed at its ability to repair itself and other machinery. A nearby alien fleet invited him to show his skills in navigating hazardous space, curious about his strategy. Even smug rival traders approached him cautiously, offering favors instead of insults. Jax realized something important. Humans were being noticed, not for brute strength or domination, but for ingenuity, creativity, and moral judgment. His victories were small on a galactic scale, yet they mattered because they proved a simple truth. Humans could thrive without violence, relying on intelligence, cooperation, and respect for life. At one point, Jax returned to Xyler Station. The marketplace had changed. Traders greeted him with nods of respect, and whispers of the armored ship filled the corridors. The auctioneer who had sold him the ship for 7 credits stared at him in disbelief. You're the one?" he stammered. "The one what?" Jax asked, smiling. "The one who... Wow, you fixed planets, saved colonies. With that old thing?" Jax laughed. "I guess the universe likes surprises." The station's comm networks lit up with messages from human and alien contacts alike. Requests for help, invitations to collaborate, and even formal recognition from nearby governments flooded in. Jax didn't seek fame, but he realized that humans were finally being seen for what they were: capable, intelligent, and adaptable. He spent nights studying the cube from the alien vault, still glowing faintly in the ship's cargo hold. Its knowledge continued to amaze him, revealing new ways to improve energy systems, navigation methods, and communication networks. Each day he applied what he learned, solving problems no one else could. And everywhere he went, the AI reminded him of one simple truth: the galaxy underestimated your species. "You have begun to change that." Jack smiled, feeling a growing sense of responsibility. Humans could now be seen as partners, innovators, and problem solvers in a galaxy full of advanced civilizations. The armored ship, once dismissed as scrap, had become a symbol of human potential, and he had become its guide. The real reward, Jax realized, was not recognition, but opportunity. Opportunity to explore, to learn, and to show the universe what humans could do. He was no longer just a scavenger. He was a pioneer, a symbol of ingenuity and a proof that humans could rise to challenges even the most advanced species found impossible. Weeks passed, and Jax's reputation spread further. He met scientists who marveled at his solutions, traders who adapted his methods, and diplomats who began to consult humans as equals for the first time. The armored ship had become not just a tool, but a bridge, a link between humans and the rest of the galaxy. One evening, as he floated in orbit above a lush, uninhabited planet, Jax spoke to the ship. "We've done a lot," he said quietly, "but I feel like this is just the start. There's more out there. Secrets, knowledge, maybe even civilizations we don't know about." "Indeed," the AI replied. "The galaxy is vast. What you have achieved is only the beginning. There are other vaults, other knowledge, other opportunities, and together we will find them." Jax felt a thrill run through him. The armored ship had chosen him for its mission. The galaxy had begun to notice humans because of his actions, and somewhere deep in the stars, adventure waited. He gripped the controls firmly. "All right, big guy," he said, a smile forming on his face. Let's see how far humans can go. The ship hummed in response, glowing softly under the starlight. Together they would explore, discover, and change the galaxy forever, one calculated step at a time. Because now humans were no longer underestimated. The stars stretched endlessly before Jack's core as he floated above a newly discovered planet. Its surface glowed with strange, iridescent forests and rivers that shimmered like liquid crystal. He felt a sense of awe he had never experienced, a reminder that the universe was far larger and more mysterious than any scavenger could imagine. The armored ship hummed softly beneath him, its lights pulsing in quiet harmony with his excitement. Over the weeks, Jax had learned more about its hidden systems than he had thought possible. The ship could repair itself and others, manipulate energy in ways that defied human understanding, and navigate even the most dangerous regions of space effortlessly. But there was one final secret it had yet to reveal. "Are you ready?" the AI asked. Its voice carried a calm authority, like a teacher guiding a promising student. "For what?" Jax asked, though his heart already guessed the answer. "To unlock my full abilities," the AI replied. "To become what I was always meant to be, and to show humanity what you are capable of." Jax felt a thrill run through him. He had always hoped for adventure, for discovery, but he hadn't imagined this. The ship, dismissed by everyone else as junk, had been waiting for someone capable, someone human, to awaken its true power. He adjusted the controls, and the ship's glow intensified. Panels shifted automatically, revealing intricate conduits and energy nodes that Jax had never noticed. The cockpit filled with a soft light, and a holographic map appeared showing hundreds of uncharted star systems. "These are all within our reach," the AI said. "Other vaults, other knowledge, civilizations waiting for guidance, and you will lead the way." Jax leaned back amazed. His mind raced. For a scavenger who had once bought a ship for 7 credits, this was beyond anything he could have dreamed. He had a chance not just to explore, but to change how the galaxy saw humans. "All right," he said, a grin spreading across his face. "Let's do this. Let's see what humans can really do." The first test came quickly. A nearby system showed signs of instability, an ancient energy network threatening to collapse, which could have caused widespread damage if left unchecked. Jax piloted the ship carefully, following the AI's guidance. They approached the massive energy nodes glowing like giant stars and began the work of stabilizing them. The ship's adaptive systems came alive. Panels extended, emitting soft energy fields that realigned the failing structures. The AI guided Jax in synchrony, explaining adjustments, highlighting weak points, and calculating the optimal flow of energy. "Almost there," the AI said. "You are doing perfectly." Jax focused, hands steady on the controls. Sweat formed on his brow, but he did not falter. With a final adjustment, the energy field stabilized. Lights across the system blinked in sequence, showing success. Jax leaned back and laughed, disbelief mixing with exhilaration. "We did it. The system is safe," the AI hummed softly, "and the galaxy watches learning. Humans are capable of more than they realize." Word of Jax's successes spread quickly. Aliens who had once underestimated humans began reaching out, asking for guidance, for collaboration, for knowledge. Humans too took notice. Scientists, engineers, and explorers were amazed at what one person, with ingenuity and determination, could achieve with the right tools and guidance. Jax visited colonies on the brink of disaster, planets with failing ecosystems and starports struggling to maintain safety and trade. Each time he applied the knowledge from the cube, the guidance of the ship, and his own human creativity. Every success reinforced the message: humans were not weak. They were not simple. They were capable, clever, and adaptable. And the armored ship, once ignored and undervalued, had become a symbol of that truth. One quiet evening, as Jax floated in orbit around a planet untouched by civilization, he reflected on everything that had happened. The journey from a 7-credit purchase to this moment seemed impossible. He had discovered an ancient vault, learned from an intelligent ship, stabilized entire star systems, and gained recognition from alien civilizations. Yet he did not feel pride alone. He felt responsibility. Humans were being watched, studied, and now trusted. Their reputation had grown not through conquest, but through intelligence, creativity, and ethical action. And it was his duty to guide them further. The AI's voice broke the silence. "There is one final step. The full integration of my systems. Once completed, You will have access to everything I was designed to provide. It is time, Jax nodded. He understood. This was the culmination of everything. The reason the ship had chosen him, the reason he had bought it for 7 credits. It was more than a tool, more than a companion. It was a key and he held the lock. The process was mesmerizing. Panels and conduits shifted, energy fields aligned, and the ship hummed louder, almost like a living creature stretching for the first time. Holographic symbols filled the cockpit, representing knowledge, energy patterns, and star maps beyond human comprehension. Jax focused on understanding, absorbing what he could. The ship guided him patiently, translating complex energy flows into intuitive commands. Slowly, steadily, he learned to operate the ship at its full potential. And then, it was complete. The ship glowed with soft white light, its armor seamless and powerful. The AI's voice was calm, almost proud. "You are ready," it said. "Together we can explore, protect, and guide. Together we can show the galaxy what humanity is capable of." Jax's heart raced. "Then let's go," he said firmly. Their next journey took them to an uncharted star system, where the remnants of an ancient civilization floated in silence. Massive ships, long abandoned, drifted among broken stations. Energy cores hummed faintly, waiting to be awakened. "Do you see them?" the AI asked. "Yes," Jax whispered. "They're incredible." "What happened here?" "They vanished," the AI explained. "But their technology remains. And now it can be preserved, understood, guided. With your help, humans can learn from their mistakes, not repeat them." Jax piloted carefully, using the ship's full capabilities. Its shields adapted to the unstable energy fields. Its engines navigated collapsing gravitation zones, and its AI predicted hidden dangers before they appeared. Jax felt a sense of harmony, human skill and alien knowledge merging seamlessly. As they explored, he discovered a central chamber, housing technology that could revolutionize energy use, communications, and transportation across human space. He activated it carefully, following the AI's instructions. Streams of energy flowed, systems stabilized, and a map of connected civilizations appeared, revealing countless opportunities for humanity to expand knowledge and influence peacefully. "Humans can do this," Jax said, voice firm. "We can reach the stars, solve problems, and learn from what came before." "Yes," the AI said, "and the universe will recognize it." Returning to human space, Jax became more than a legend. Scientists studied his methods, explorers adapted his strategies, and colonies prepared for collaboration instead of isolation. Humans gained respect not through fear, but through ingenuity, ethics, and resilience. Jax knew the credit for this was shared, with the ship, with the ancient knowledge, and with every human willing to rise to challenges. He had been the first, the catalyst, but humanity as a whole would continue the work. One evening, as he drifted near a glowing nebula, he spoke to the AI quietly. "What now?" he asked. "Now we continue," the AI replied. "There are other vaults, other lost knowledge, other civilizations. You will guide humanity to them. And in doing so, the galaxy will learn not to underestimate your kind again." Jack smiled. "Then let's keep going. There's so much to see, so much to learn." The ship hummed in agreement, its lights pulsing in time with his excitement. Together, they would explore the universe, uncover lost civilizations, stabilize struggling colonies, and show the galaxy that humans were capable of extraordinary things. Because humans were not weak. Humans were clever, adaptable, and resilient. And Jack's core, once a simple scavenger, had become the living proof of that truth. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. And for the first time in history, humanity was ready to meet them. Jax gripped the controls firmly, a smile on his face. As the armored ship accelerated toward the unknown, the universe had underestimated humans. Now they were unstoppable.